Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk. Okay. What's your objection to, is it animals in general or is it just cats?
No, I love animals and I love cats. Okay. I love looking at cats
What
and
if you go
touching.
visit
Yes.
somebody? Are you happier if they have a dog at their house or a cat at their house?
I'm not bothered either way. I love enjoying other people's animals and
And you
seeing,
love leaving them.
yep, and seeing animals in nature. I don't want another child that will not grow up and always have needs. Like my kids will always have needs, but those needs are ever shifting, which keeps things exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But a cat pees and poops in a little square, and
And a human pees and poops in a little oval.
you don't have
And
to take
I
them
don't need
out.
to clean it up.
So when I started having cats, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but when I started having cats, there was a rule in my house. There was no litter box. Cat
Are they
shits
indoor
outside.
cats, outdoor cats,
Nope.
indoor, outdoor?
Outside. They go outside. They do their business outside. And it's so it doesn't create a huge mess in the house. And that was like the only way I was going to have them for a long time. And then I did then I had my apartment. And I literally, not even kidding, I got a 2-bedroom apartment because I could not handle the cat box being in my room
Mm,
or my bathroom.
yeah,
So I put
those.
it in the other room's closet. Like,
Yeah, it was pretty
so I
far
get it.
away,
I get it.
and the
Like
laundry room,
it's
so there was kind of laundry smells, so it kind of masked
yeah.
the.
Mm.
Yeah, and so like the and now Lloyd just goes outside. Like
Well, he's
it's
always
there's
outside. I mean, there's.
yeah.
I mean, you do have a litter box in there, though.
I do. I have an emergency litter box and I don't even know why, honestly.
To take
And
us.
it's fancy litter. It's not. It's not just cheap tidy cat or whatever you
Excuse
get,
me, it is
fresh
not
step
fancy
or
litter. The
uh,
litter that's in there is $7 a bag and that bag lasts a month, okay? Walmart.
I thought you had fancy litter.
I did have fancy litter, but it was too expensive. So I found the cheap version at Walmart.
Okay.
So
So he
litter
just got
litter
over
talk.
it. He got over it once he was like, okay, I'm free to go anywhere
Well,
outside.
it's still the fancy version. It's still the crystals. It's just not pretty litter.
Hmm.
It's not brand name. So,
Generic Wally World litter.
Is this
yeah.
is this the equivalent of like tissue or toilet paper talk? Like litter talk. So do we use, are we talking like Kleenex
She says my
level?
tidy cat litter is shit, basically, is
It's
what she normally
god
says.
awful. It
So
smells so
it's
bad
like
down
one
there.
ply. So it's like one
No,
ply.
no, it's not. It's not that bad. Fresh Step
No,
is the bottom of the
no.
barrel, but
Okay.
Mm.
It's not like toilet paper talk. It's like if you have a hole in your septic talk. Like it's
it smells
like
like that in my house.
no, it doesn't smell like that, but like it does smell in that area. Um,
It's a storage area. I just need to stay up with. I actually set a reminder on my phone. Every 3 days, it will go off to say clean the litter box.
see, I don't have to do that.
Well, yeah, you live in a van, so. And it used to be like once a week, I would maybe remember to go do it. But
The reason I like the fancy litter is because you can just clean the litter box out and then just go dump it in the toilet.
yep.
You can't do that with other litter?
No, because it has clay on it.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
usually
actually, cat litter is
it's clay
very
bit.
cool because it's like clay based. So when a cat pees in it, then it clumps like clay would. And I just think that's the coolest thing,
Hmm.
actually.
And what's the crystals?
They just absorb it and you like move it around and then they dry.
Mm.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. You should probably tell us your name.
That's your cat talk.
Okay.
Yeah, we welcoming back. Who's here today?
Tzipporah. I'm here. Tzipporah from Sipor Ceramics. Ew, why is it so weird to introduce myself? Do
It's
you
less
Do it
guys?
weird than
every
last
day.
time. Last time you made us introduce ourselves
I was
before.
about to say, did you guys introduce yourselves? Wow, I'm consistent. At least that.
Because
I do
both
not.
Tzipporah and I re-listened to the episode from last time
I
today.
didn't listen from the start though, so that's why
Oh, okay.
I didn't listen at all.
I re-listened because I was curious to hear the changes between then and now.
I remember it. I remember
Yeah.
where I was sitting. I remember it was hot as fuck. And it was also humid as fuck because I was in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of changes since the last time we we didn't really challenge you, but we lighted a
did.
fire under your belt.
You did
Yeah.
challenge. I mean, yeah, an unofficial challenge, and it was
Yeah.
very
That was August of 2023 when it came out,
right.
and episode 211. If anybody wants to go back and listen to that.
And what episode are we now? Like 260?
Pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're almost at 5 years, Tzipporah.
that's unbelievable.
On August 8th.
Yeah. I think your episode, part 1 of your episode, will be 260.
We'll be 260. Wow.
Ooh,
Wow.
Yeah,
damn.
Getting there.
that's pretty amazing. Are you guys gonna like
That's
celebrate
a lot
5
of
years?
talking. I don't know. People do these like big celebrations for big things, and I'm like,
Should we get each other?
like, what
should
do you
we-
do for?
You know what we should do, Ryan, is that we
We should give away all these mugs that are sitting here on my shelf that haven't been touched in a while.
we definitely should do that, but we should I feel like
Those are
we
Real
need
Talk mugs, by the way.
it would be fun to do like a scavenger. Okay, this is my idea. I think it would be fun to do like a scavenger online purchase order where like we choose like just 10 people, 5 people for each of us, and they get to choose what to give us, but we buy it. So like, and
So
they have
that-
like a price, they have a price point. So they have to like find something for less than $5 or less than $10. And it can
They're
be
gonna
like,
ship us something for less than $5.
I don't know.
So
I
you're
haven't-
gonna be buying it. I'm not I
We're
think
buying stuff for ourselves, but other people are choosing
Are
what
telling
to
Like-
send us.
like I would create an array of gifts for you, but I wouldn't choose all the gifts. I'd choose one of the gifts, and we have a set price, and then we get like 5 listeners to like, and it should have like a theme, and it has to end like we get 5 listeners, and they choose the gifts, and then send me what they are, and then I'll like Amazon them to you, and vice versa. That'd be fun.
Why are we buying them then? Why
I
don't
don't
we
know.
just say, hey, listeners, we're celebrating 5 years on this date. Send us something fun that is no more than $5.
send us something fun.
I don't
Yeah.
know why they're sending it to us, but or is
Well-
it like
I don't want to ask people to spend money on us for 5 years. What?
You sold a jewelry class.
Hell yeah.
sell the
P.S.
Jordan?
Oh, well, I guess this will come out later, but I just sold a jewelry class for
Oh,
for our
Their
Beal
summer camp-
pottery
Beal Pottery
summer
camp.
camp extravaganza.
And this
Yeah.
is coming out after that class.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's okay. Maybe I'll do a little snippet before the next episode and tell
I wish we
people
maybe
about
we
it.
could I wonder if we could talk with sponsors about like sending free product to some people.
Oh, to celebrate.
We could do a 5-year giveaway.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's a
we
good
can
idea.
give to listeners something.
Oh, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe Ryan can give a piece of pottery too, and Becca can give a set of
Piece of pottery.
Yeah, or
Mhm.
or pot.
Something, and then we can talk to Advancer, maybe they do something, and then we could talk to Speedball, and I don't know what L&L would give. A
Maybe a credit,
thermocouple.
maybe like a gift, like a.
Honestly though, if I got a free thermocouple from somebody, I'd be like, hell yeah. Right?
It'd probably be
They're
like a
not,
choice
they're like
of like
$30.
They're $35.
She just said that they're $35. Where are you buying your thermocouple?
I'm not freaking stuff, only $14 there. Something that's stealing from working that's $0.
I couldn't understand what he
I
said.
didn't hear.
You'll have to
By the
relay
way,
that.
Eric Beal is on the background of this. And he says he buys them from Scut and they're $14.99, but sometimes he gets them from work and they're $0.
Oh,
Free
$0
$99.
is the best amount of dollars.
Free 99. I asked him if he would steal a solar panel from work because he's working in the solar fields. And I was like, how big are the panels? And he was like, as big as your van.
Ooh,
And I
Not
was like, let's
transporting that.
go.
only need one.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're like 400 watts. Maybe big as my van.
I think for your 5-year, you should test out what it would feel like to post some video snippets
Shut the fuck
of
up.
your podcast recordings. I think that would be fun. But you know what? Leave it to the listeners.
The listeners can produce that for us.
The
You know what, like, you know what we did with that 100 episode? We did that like mishmash of things. Like, oh my gosh, that would be
That took so
so long if we were
long.
like, pick out the favorite moments from the last 5 years of episodes.
Oh my gosh.
It literally, like, if I did that again, I'd be like, okay, if you guys want this type of episode, you're gonna have to send me your favorite. Like, say what episode, exactly the time.
Yeah, the
We
time.
ca- We kind of did a call for that, but it's so hard.
It's so hard. Yeah.
I like the
I definitely love the idea of doing a little giveaway. Maybe we could get Andy from Hey Sula to give some stuff too, and Ritual Glaze, they seem to pair up with Andy a lot. And then
I could give a workshop spot if you want.
yeah, you could give a workshop spot. We can give our things. Yeah, that'd be fun. I don't love doing giveaways, but I feel like that's the type of giveaway I would want to
I think
do.
that'd be a cool giving
Yeah.
back to the listeners.
Maybe
that we-
Clay King can do something too. We can see if Will can give us a little Clay King
Gift
schmish
card or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
waiting days to hear about Ryan's vacation.
You know
Oh
what-
my God, me too.
You know what was funny? You
Hit
know
us
what's
with it.
funny? I was telling
You
Rachel
don't
this.
remember any of it.
No, I was telling Rachel this, that the part that I kind of dread is when you get back and everybody's like, "How's your vacation? Tell me all about it. How's your vacation? Tell me all about it." And then it's just like, "Oh, it was good. Like, we went to these cities and like we liked
Okay,
this
you
one the
want more
best."
pointed questions?
And then the thing was, I got back to work and 0 people asked me the entire first day. Nobody's asked me. It's 3 days in. Nobody's asked me how my vacation was. I was gone for 2 weeks straight. Like,
I purposefully didn't ask you
well, no,
because I
I'm
knew I
talking
was going to
about-
ask you in person.
No, I'm talking about from work.
At work,
Like, I was
yeah.
working
Yeah.
with these people for the last 3 days and nobody's asked me.
Well, isn't that what you wanted?
But it's fine. I was
Ryan?
like, did I just like manifest this, that
You did.
you know
manifested
they
it.
know that I don't like, you
But
know,
it didn't
what are you
roll
doing for your
over.
birthday? What are you doing for this? What are you doing for the holiday? It's just like, it was good.
It didn't roll over to us though. We want to know.
Yeah. All right. So we
Yeah.
went to Spain, Portugal. Barcelona is where we started. 3 days there, 2 days Madrid, 2 days in Porto, Portugal, 3 days in Lisbon. Flew home. So
And quite potentially the most pictures of tiles I've ever seen
Yeah.
in my life.
yeah,
I would like a tile book made.
we bought a book that was, it's kind of a small book, but we got one at a tile store. I can't remember the store, but they actually had painters up on the top floor that were hand painting tiles.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Wow.
So it wasn't, I mean, some of the tiles might have been like factory tiles, but they were hand painting them and
Yeah.
stuff. So pretty cool. That was in Porto.
Listen, nobody's faulting anybody for not making the fucking tiles.
Yeah,
Painting the tiles is what matters.
it was pretty nuts. They had a whole section that were, because the tiles, there's different ones. There's like flat ones where all the painting is the design, and then there's ones that they've got raised sections where it's like higher and lower, and then they do the glaze that fills in the sections. And then they've got the like 3-dimensional ones that look like flowers and all that stuff. So it was pretty crazy. Like regular buildings you're walking by in Porto, because I guess because it's a smaller city, there was way more tiles there than in Lisbon. Lisbon had some more brighter colored buildings and painted buildings, but there wasn't as many just full on tile buildings. So,
That's
Mm.
what I like the most about when Ryan and Rachel go on vacation is because like everybody else is like, oh, we went on this like hike and we went on this boat and blah blah blah. And Ryan and Rachel are like, look at this building. Like
See the architecture.
yeah, the
yeah.
buildings and
Yeah.
going to, I think we went to the botanical garden in,
Oh,
That's
where
cool.
was that? I think that was Madrid. And we
that
saw a
sounds
cat. That was
amazing.
okay. There's no fucking cats anywhere. We saw cats in the where was that? Lisbon? There's a bunch of street cats in Lisbon. Zero street cats. Zero cats. We saw no cats in Spain. I don't understand it.
Huh. That's interesting.
There was dogs everywhere. People were walking their dogs and all that stuff, but
Yeah, but like straight, no stray cats.
no cats. Yeah, I don't.
Mm.
Where's that place that apparently has like the most stray cats?
Is that like Turkey or
Yeah, I think
Australia
it's
or
Turkey.
something like that?
Yeah, there's like ones. It's like Istanbul. It's Istanbul, isn't it? Yeah.
I think that
It's
might be right.
and they like treat their cats like royalty, and there's just like a bunch of stray cats.
Yeah. Well,
Taiwan.
the thing is, there's street cats in Lisbon, but they want nothing to do with you. You're walking around,
Yeah.
you're kind of like enticing them, you're like making sounds and stuff. They don't give you the light of day. They don't care.
Mm.
So, um, a lot of walking everywhere.
Good
They all
food.
had good food. I'm trying to think. Some of it's, you know, I was kind of joking with Rachel because she did some reservations for I think she had 4 to 5 reservations the whole trip, but
Hmm.
those were honestly the best food that we had.
Mm.
The
That
best
makes sense.
food, the best food we had was in Lisbon.
That fancy
Um,
restaurant?
yeah, the 2 fancy restaurants, but some of these I cannot do these fancy restaurants. Like the well, one thing if you go to most of the restaurants you go to there, they're not catering to your every need. They're not going out of their way to be fake to you or everything that you expect here. You come to a table, they take your water order, your drink order, and then it's like a bump 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 bump. Like what they're gonna do. They're gonna drop your food and then they're gonna come back in like 3 minutes and they're gonna ask you how it's going, and then they're gonna like see if you need a refill, and then they're gonna pick your food up and they're gonna, do you want a dessert? And if no, then they're gonna bring your check. Like it's not like that. They just look at your body language and they're like, okay, what can we get you to drink? And then you basically order your food right when you order the drink, and then get your food. They take time to let you eat. They're not even going to come back to your table the whole time until you have to ask them, when you're done, they'll take your stuff and then they'll ask you if you want dessert. But
So
it's
they leave
not,
you alone.
yeah, they leave you alone and you've got to flag them down for the check. Like, you're looking up, like, even if you're looking up and they can see you're looking around, they're not going to be observant enough to just come right to you and say, hey, what can I help you with? Like in America, they would see you doing that and they'd be like, well, my tip's on the line if I don't come over to you and
Right.
acknowledge you. That there's no real tipping there. We didn't even see a tipping screen that asked for a tip until we were in Portugal. Um, so
Oh, is tipping included in the bill?
it's just
Mhm.
not customary there.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's like tipping they pay their workers a reasonable wage, so they don't expect you to tip.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know what the
Tipping
only,
culture is completely different in Europe.
yeah, we talked about it a little bit with one woman, one of the waitresses in Porto, because I mentioned to her out, every whenever you're paying with a card or whatever, they always have those handhelds. So it's just a little one, and you say you want your check, they bring the check, and then they do it like immediately. You're not waiting and signing a form and calculating tip and doing all this.
Yeah.
They have the thing there, and then the woman had the handheld. It said service charge, like additional service charge if you want it. And I think the baseline was 5%. and then 10%, and then, or maybe, yeah, I think it was like 10, 5, 10, and 12 or something like that.
Hmm.
So it's not expected. And then I just made a comment to her. I was like, I'm surprised. This is the first time that I've actually seen a service charge prompt on one of the handhelds. I'd never seen that yet since we've been traveling the last week and a half or week. And she was like, "Oh yeah, like some restaurants do it, but it's not." But also she said some restaurants that do it, all the money goes to the owner. They don't even give it to the servers. They just
Whoa.
pocket the service charge.
Ugh.
And it's like up to them to distribute and give it out. But she was like, "But our restaurant, it does go to the servers and the wait staff and stuff." So we had just a little back and forth there. And then we were talking to her about, in the US, like it's customary that at a minimum you're pretty much expected to leave at least 15%. Like
Yeah.
nobody's leaving less than 15% generally. If it is, it's very rare. And then the standard is pretty much 20. And then nowadays it's like, and then I was like, yeah, some days you get a coffee at Starbucks and it prompts you for a tip. It's getting
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous, um but yeah, that was a little different, but I kind of liked it because you know, especially I don't know, like the different perspective makes you feel like, the wait staff, they have to go out of their way to I don't want to say like baby you, but like they have to come back and they have to do their rounds because their tip's dependent on it.
Yeah.
And it just feels it's an obligation, and it's like disingenuous in a way.
Yeah. It's just ultimately
It's
sad
just
that they're not getting paid enough
yeah, it's
here.
just a weird dynamic. And then they can also, because they're not expected to hit your table every 5 minutes, they can cater to a lot of tables, a lot more tables that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So that was unexpected.
that was,
I just
and then that I mentioned the fancy restaurant. So we were at a fancy restaurant, and you get the exact opposite. You get to the table, there was 3 different people that were coming to and from our table all the time. I mean, you got the person that seats you, they get your drink, and then you've got the person that's, sitting out your silverware, and they're also taking up the wine glass because you didn't get wine, like the empty glass
Yeah.
that's sitting on
Yeah.
the table. And then you've got somebody that's walking around with bottles of wine that's trying to like recommend wine, and they're, "Can we get you
sommelier.
the wine list? Can we interest you in a certain thing? What are you looking for?" And they want to talk you through it. I'm like, I want to see a menu and I want to look at it, and then I want to choose what I want off the menu, and then I want to tell you what I want. I don't want to do this like, it just felt
You don't
so
want to have
like,
an experience, Ryan?
no.
What the
It's
fuck?
like talking. It's like it's posturing.
Yeah, and then what we had to do was we uh order the water. I was like, "We'll get the water for now, but do you have a cocktail menu?" We like that. And then we told the one person that, and then the wine guy comes by and he's talking about, "Oh, can we get you a wine list, whatever, whatever." And I'm like, "No, can we get a cocktail menu?" So we asked that person, and then they say, "Well, let me go get one." Like, and they don't come back with one, and then we have to ask a third time, and then we don't get it, and I'm just like, "I saw y'all have like old fashions," and then he's like, "Yes, it's the best old fashioned in Lisbon, and so," and I'm like, "She normally drinks something with gin, but we don't know. Like, do you have?" And that was the third time we asked for the cocktail list, because I was like, "I know I want this, but she doesn't know what she wants. Can we like do this?" And then when they walked away and then they came back another time, we was like, she wants a gimlet. Like, can you just make her a gimlet?" And it was fine. I mean, it took 45 minutes to get the cocktail after asking for it too.
Oh
Like
gosh.
we were midway through the dinner by the time we got the cocktail. But
That's weird.
it was so weird. I mean, the server, the one server was great. He was great. The wine guy was a little like, "Okay, you don't want," and then the guys next to us, like they're sipping on this wine, they're getting this wine, this other bottle of something, like they're having a whole thing. It was like a business group or something. And it's
They were
just,
punishing you. They were
and
punishing you for not being wine
it
people.
just wasn't, it just felt like they were like, I'm like, okay, this guy's the salesman, this guy's the server that's like taking our order, and he was great. And then you've got the woman that was, taking our plates and taking our silverware, and okay, you're gonna get you ordered the steak and you ordered no other starters, so we're gonna take this plate away and we're gonna take this silverware away, which is perfectly fine, fork and knife. I get the knife is for a steak, but it's like, okay, we're gonna take this one off
It's like unnecessarily fancy,
Yeah, and I'm like, and
and
I
then
walk and I
yeah.
walk in there with like I walk in with like a dry fit Nike shirt that's like comfortable, and I wear a hat, and then I take the hat off when I walk in because I'm like, I'm too fancy. I can't wear a hat in here. And then I'm like, Rachel, does my hair look good? I'm like I'm wearing flip-flops. I'm like, oh my, like I
You're
feel,
not the first tourist they have coming through.
and I'm like, and then I just get aggravated with the like the
Yeah. Okay, but
the
how was the
fanciness.
food?
The food was amazing.
Okay.
That
So
place, that
that's
food
the
was
bottom
amazing.
line.
The next place, there was another fancy restaurant. I don't know if you saw that with a bar. It was more tropical looking. I
Yeah.
know Tzipporah saw the bath. The bathroom was like a really fancy bathroom. That
Yes.
was delicious. That was a little fancy, but it was bartenders, so it was like super casual. It was nice.
Oh,
Um, yeah. So those were the two best meals we had all trip. Those were in Lisbon.
yeah.
Were
Those
they
were reservations.
were they Michelin star restaurants?
No, but we walked past a number of Michelin star restaurants. I called them out every time I saw them, and I was like, Beck, I could tell Becca that I saw Michelin star restaurants in there from
How
like
did
20.
you
Well,
know?
I wish you would have
It
gone.
says it outside.
Does it?
Yeah, it's an award. Michelin is an
Oh yeah.
award.
Yes, yes. I just didn't know how you know. So they have a
They
sign.
have a sign outside. I think one of them said Michelin 2024, and then one of them said Michelin 2023
Ooh.
on a different one that I saw, or maybe it said 2024.
Ooh.
That one
Wow.
Indian restaurant that was in Madrid was really fancy too.
So what was something that was super unexpected but amazing about the trip?
Unexpected, but amazing. I think the I think I was expecting that we were going to be hustle bustle, going constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of days we just slept until 10 or 11 in the afternoon. Not in the afternoon, in the
Mm.
morning. And I mean, generally we're not early birds anyways, but sleeping in is pretty nice.
Pretty amazing. It makes a vacation, even though you want to maximize on every second, it's like there's something really nice about sleeping in.
Yeah. I mean, some of it
Yeah.
was, hey, we've got an appointment for a lunch. We have a lunch reservation at, 1 or 2 or something. And we were like, okay, well, we need to get going so we can go to this thing before, and then we can at least have something before we eat, or because we're pretty much taking transit the whole time. So we're doing the subways for the most part, and the metro, which is
What
really
do
fun.
you
I enjoy that.
what do you guys do like while you're traveling? Are you guys like reading? Are you on your phones? Like what's your
Just in general, we're mainly like going.
looking
She had
around?
she had some points of interest.
But I mean like while you're on the train or on the
Oh,
plane, what is it that you guys like to do?
oh, okay. I thought you meant just in the metro when
Oh,
or
no.
when we're
Like
traveling
looking
around.
around, like what's
Um,
your thing?
if we're on the train from, Barcelona to Madrid, which is 2.5 hours or something like that, I'm generally gonna be, I think I was on my iPad. I was just watching a movie or something like that.
Yeah. And
And
Rachel,
then so we did the I don't want to say bullet train, but we did one of the trains between Madrid and Barcelona, and then we had to fly to Porto because it was pretty far. Like it would have been an 8 hour
yeah,
transit or 12 hour or something like that. So we did a flight. That was like a 1 hour flight
yeah,
to Porto. And then we did the train. I think it was 3 to 3.5 hours between Porto and Lisbon,
yeah.
which was pretty nice. But I think Rachel just reads or sleep. I mean, most of those we left. We had to get going pretty early for those, especially like the flight. We had to get going really early.
Yeah.
And then, you're on the train at 8 in the morning, and
I love doing travel, like making these kinds of trips, making travel trips without children. It's such a different
oh
experience
yeah.
with kids. So it's like
It,
I don't like watching things when I'm traveling. If I'm on the train or, bus or plane, because I feel like it goes by so much faster when you're watching something, and I'm almost like, this is part of it. Like,
mhm.
this is part of it.
This is part of the trip. Yeah.
This is part of the trip. I need to like soak it every second. So like either I'm so happy to just look around or and people watch or read. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm generally not like reading in those, but
Yeah.
I I also had the phone connection. Rachel didn't have her phone connected with
Oh,
the SIM card and stuff, so I was pretty much the navigator. I'm pretty much always a navigator anyways, but
yeah.
figuring out where we're going and coming up with a plan of, because usually you got to get to the city and you got to figure
Yeah,
out how you're going to get around. We only Ubered 2 or 3 times, so
yeah.
Yeah.
using the transit. Porto was very walkable. I was surprised by that. You basically took the train from the airport, and then when we got there, we walked everywhere,
Yeah,
which
that's
was
awesome.
it was pretty nice not having to do that. Because Madrid, I think there's like 2 or 3 different metros. We got super confused. There's
Ooh,
like a suburban metro, and then there's like a metro that's inner city,
yeah.
and it's so deep under the ground. So it's like you got to just look at the symbols and you're like, are we in the right spot? And then they've also got the trains that are like long range trains that go to, the outskirt cities and stuff. And it's a little confusing, but
Did everything have like English?
not exactly, no.
Oh,
And the like information people weren't as accessible. Like I didn't really see their just information people just standing around.
yeah.
I mean, there were
How
people
often
at the
was
different
Google Translate used?
uh mostly with menus when we were ordering. If
Yeah.
there was
Oh, yeah.
ingredients on the menus that we weren't familiar with, because
You looked
I
them
don't,
up, yeah.
yeah, I don't want to be that. Well, they've got on uh Google Translate, they got the Google Lens where you can
Yeah,
hold the camera over
Oh,
and it'll translate the text on your screen
yeah,
with the camera. So
yeah.
it's pretty nice to do that. But it was funny. We got to Lisbon, and the check-in process for these Airbnbs, they're all different. A lot of them were, there's a little key lock box. You just open
Mhm.
this little thing right by the door, and all of them were ready way before we got there, which was great too. You didn't have to wait till 3 or 4 p.m. to do it. They were ready to go at like 11 or noon.
Mm.
So we didn't have to wait and figure out what the hell to do with our luggage, which sucks. I don't know if you travel around and you have to figure out what to do with that, but
Oh, it's awful.
um but that one was different. Like you had to go to a different building because they own multiple buildings to go get the thing. And we get to the building and it says ring these buzzers, and we ring one of the buzzers, and it's a really old lady. She only speaks Portuguese, and we're trying to communicate to figure out what we're supposed to do. And we've got this document that tells us like what we need to do, and it tells us to ring this buzzer, but like where's the key at? And I'm like, there's a lockbox somewhere, but like I don't know where. And it just was confusing. And then we probably didn't need to disturb her, but the instructions just weren't as clear as it would have been. And then there was
Mm.
she ended up like flagging some neighbor lady that was like walking up the street that happened to know some English. So she was talking with us a little bit, and then she was using Google Translate. She was closer to our
Yeah,
age. Um, but yeah, that was kind of the most like
language barrier.
language barrier moment.
Yeah,
You know, I, most of the restaurants and stuff, they know enough. And you're at retail stores. I would say Portugal was better with English communication with us at stores, and just like getting to English quicker, because
yeah.
Portuguese is more foreign, I think, than Spanish for us. Although they're kind of close in language, but um yeah,
If you could only go back to one of them, one of the places that you went to, which one would it be?
Barcelona.
Mm,
that was
that was
quick. There was
fast. That
no,
was
yeah, that
fast.
was quick.
Tell us more.
We liked it the best. I'm trying to remember back what we liked about it specifically, because we were there first. Um I would say there or Porto. Porto because it was so small and like walkable, but
Yeah.
also there was um
Was Barcelona where the botanical gardens was?
I think that was Madrid.
Oh.
Madrid was just too big, in my opinion. Like getting around
Mm,
wasn't as accessible. In
yeah.
Barcelona, the metro, the train to get within the city was way more accessible. It was easier to get to the stations. You could get to the points of interest you wanted to easier and quicker. The neighborhoods were pretty good. It was very clean. They had good architecture with like um they had a lot of, I want to say, like the stone and tile and stuff was styled pretty cool, and the buildings had some good character to them. I'm trying to remember if I think the Gaudi's buildings and stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with that. That's like a designer that did some like really like crazy buildings. Did you see any of the stories of the outsides of the buildings that look like palaces almost, but they're
Yes.
very organic. I think that was Madrid more so, but
Wow.
that was now I'm thinking I don't think that was Madrid actually. I think that was Barcelona. But it
You
was
guys
just
wanted to go to these areas for a long time?
no, I think we just kind of picked it because of its proximity to here, but also it's like getting back to Europe. But we've heard good things about Portugal from
Mm,
especially flight attendant friends of Rachel's. And Rachel's been to Madrid and Barcelona before.
mm.
So we kind of went back and I don't know, like that didn't seem, I guess, as I want to say like foreign or like tough to navigate.
Yeah.
Like I don't know good Spanish, but like I know enough to like get
Yeah. Google
get by
Translate's
and
awesome though.
yeah, I feel like I didn't use Google Translate as much in Spain as Portugal, but
Yeah.
yeah, you kind of know enough to get around and like surprisingly, Spain had a lot of good like thrift shopping or like vintage shopping. So they have these stores
Hmm.
called named Humana, and it's kind of like a Goodwill, but they also have like a branch. It's like Humana Vintage. So there's also store vintage
Mm,
versions of it, and we did a lot of that. So I got a lot of like tropical shirts that I'm gonna wear to shows and things like that.
that's awesome.
So that should be fun. But
Okay, last question. What did you come home with?
Hmm.
I came home with 2 pieces of pottery.
What kind of pieces?
Just
The
two.
tiles?
The well, oh, I personally came home with that cup that I did on Monday, and then a little bitty cup that Rachel liked at this little farmer's market kind of thing in Lisbon before we left. Rachel did get I think she got a full tile. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
a like a 6x6 tile. She got a little magnet tile as well. And then I mentioned the shirts and stuff,
Yeah, the
so that
shirts.
kind of thing. Uh, I think that's most of what we brought.
Mm,
So yeah,
awesome.
I think Rachel got stuff similar, clothing, and I
Yeah.
don't think she got any like goods necessarily, like bag or anything like that, like a purse or anything like that.
Is that something that people normally get from?
I don't know. I feel like if people are in certain places, they'll get
Mm,
whatever's, I don't know,
wow.
like leather
Sounds
goods
amazing.
or whatever. But I feel like it was the right length of time too. I mean, I feel like 3 might have been okay too, but I probably would, shorten it a little bit. I feel like 2 to 3 days is pretty good
Yeah, that's awesome.
per
Sounds like
place.
such a great trip. What do you do with photos? Do you print them or
No, Rachel will construct I want to say Shutterfly. Usually she does Shutterfly books of
photo books? Yeah.
certain years and will compile it into something like that.
Mm,
And it'll usually be a couple years worth of trips, or if we go on
yeah.
other trips throughout the year or couple years, she'll put them together and we'll have that. So I'm sure she'll have a page of all the tiles that look cool
Tiles.
and
Yeah. You could probably dedicate a Shutterfly book to
full
tiles.
of
Two
tiles.
tiles.
Just tiles.
Yeah.
I have a
Isaac
question.
appreciated the tiles.
I'm sure. I have a question. Did you buddy pass it or did you guys pay for these tickets?
We paid for them.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, we flew. Oh, one other thing.
Is it expensive to fly over there?
I'm trying to remember what we paid. I want to say it was probably $1,500 a ticket, something like that.
Okay, yeah. So yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, we
What
flew
was the weather?
economy.
What was the weather like?
Oh, it was really good in the first in Spain. It was really good. Once we got to Porto, it actually was really hot. It was in the 90s
Oh,
the last week. It kind of sucks because I don't know. You get this really nice weather the first part of it, and then you're like, oh, you're already kind of
no.
dragging because you're near the end of the trip, and then you're walking the hills in Portugal. I don't know if you saw the hills, but
Wow.
like I think one day I looked at it said I went like 45 flights of stairs
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
from one of the days. And
Oh
each
my
day
God.
we're doing, I think we're pushing about 18,000 steps
Wow.
most days, or 15 to 18, something like
Yeah.
that. And but Spain, it was great. It was in the low to mid 70s.
Oh my God.
It
That's my
was it was
spot.
perfect. Maybe it was more like
Oh,
mid 70s and slightly
That
oh,
sounds
higher, but
lovely.
it's like give me 72 to like 81 degrees and no humidity, and
mm,
I could live in that.
it was
Me too.
nice. Yeah.
Oh,
So good.
Barcelona was on the water, and Porto or
oh,
Lisbon was, I'm trying to think. I think Porto was more close to the water than Lisbon was,
yeah.
but yeah, they were, I mean, Lisbon's on the water too, but yeah, it was pretty nice. One thing about the flying though, so Rachel requested we do this. We've done this before, but you like gift the flight attendant something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every now and
Hmm.
then if you want. So we gifted them a bunch of shot glasses. So I have a whole bin of shot glasses. We didn't know how many flight attendants there were, but we ended up taking plenty. So there were 8 flight. We only did it on the flight from like across the pond, obviously.
Yeah.
So not every flight, but giving them shot glasses was a good touch.
Yeah.
They all
Did
appreciate
you
like
get first class?
no, they didn't bump us up.
Oh,
But they gave us stuff, and they like I think
Oh.
every one of them walked by and was like, "Oh my gosh, did you give us these? Are you the Potter?"
So when do you wait? Tell me more about this. Rachel was a flight attendant, right?
Yes.
hmm
So how I have multi questions here. Point one, how often was she gifted things? Point two, wait, when did you gift the shot glasses? At
hmm
what point? Because they're all over the plane always.
hmm
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And okay, that's it for now. Go.
If she got gifted stuff, it was normally typically when we were flying, you would gift things because you're flying standby. Like if we were flying on her benefits and we were flying from Cincinnati to San Francisco, because you're flying standby, sometimes you would give a gift to the flight attendants, especially if you're on a different airline, because you're grateful that you're there, like you got on the plane like you may not expected to, and you're not really paying for the ticket, or if you are, you're not paying much if you're flying standby, and usually she would get gifts of like candy and stuff like that, and those
Mhm.
those are the people that are giving her things. It's probably like once a month maybe she would get, but it's usually little candy things. But it's a lot of times it's the things that you have in your, on the flight, like in the little what they have available on the plane. Like usually
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
peanut M&Ms on the plane. Like
We
giving them
started,
a pack of gum is not really, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
or giving them
probably,
hand sanitizer or something like that's kind of a nice touch that's a little different.
yeah, I think probably 2 years ago, we started trying to give, me and Ryan both started trying to give like pots, like small things that we could give. So like I've done pinch pots, I've done fidget stones, and honestly, the
hmm
fidget stones were the best received.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, the fidget stones, they would
Every,
appreciate that.
yeah, like one of the flight attendants came up to me and was like, I cannot tell you how awesome this is.
Yeah.
hmm
Yesterday, I wanted to punch somebody in the throat, and this would have helped me
Oh,
so
she's.
much. Like, well,
Have
because
you gifted?
in my note, I was like, just for when you want to punch somebody in the throat, you can.
Oh, that's
Oh,
amazing.
did you gift them earrings before?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done earrings too, but
So
I
when
did
do you,
earrings and fidget stones because I didn't want to be gender, like,
yeah.
you don't know if there's a
Gender
guy on the
specific.
plane.
Yeah. So we gifted Rachel, put them. There were 8 flight attendants, so it's quite a few things, right? You're not gonna. So we put them in one of my bags, one of my little craft bags with my stamp on it.
Mhm.
And then she wrote a little note on it. And when she first gets on the plane, she hands it, because there's always flight attendants right there when you
Yeah,
first
yeah.
get on the plane.
That's
So
when you
she
do it.
said, so she said, either this is for you, and then it's
Thank
it's a
you.
it's a thank you for, thank you, this is for you. And she just hands it to them. And then normally they always ask, okay, what seat are you in? And then they just jot a little note
Mhm.
of like what seats you're in, just so they can get back and like thank you. And
Right.
she wrote a little note with it that just says like, hi, we're Ryan and Rachel. Like, I used to be a flight attendant for a number of years, so I know that it's like,
Awful.
it's a tough job and you all aren't thanked enough, and we just want to let you know we're appreciative, and that's basically
Oh,
all it says. And then, they open it and they see that it's pottery or whatever. I mean, hopefully they know it's handmade, but I think we put a business card in there, but
that's so nice.
yeah. And then as the flight was going on, it was an 8-hour flight, so
Yeah.
they're just coming by and just, oh my gosh, are you the one that like made this? Did you? And then they're like, I love this. Did you make this? And then I'm sure the people around us are like, what the hell? What's
Yeah.
going on?
What happened?
I got my neighbor a free Coke once.
Mm,
Ooh.
He didn't even know. I was like, I got that for you, by the way. You're supposed to pay for
yeah.
that.
Yeah. But the thing is, on international flights, I didn't know this. All the alcohol is free. Like even in
What?
economy, like you can get a rum and Coke for free. You don't have to pay for it. On
What?
Delta at least. We flew Delta. I don't know what other
I
airlines,
don't know if
but
that's every airline. Or
but
maybe it's because you gifted them.
no, they said that. They were like, "Hey, it doesn't cost you." And she was trying to I think she went back to the back later and tried to like took a because she was like, "Do you like want something? I'm gonna go to the bathroom, but like, do you want some?" And I was like, "Yeah, can you give me a rum and Coke?" And she took her card back, and they were like, "Oh no,
Oh.
it doesn't cost anything on the international. Like, you can just request it."
Oh.
They don't really advertise it. They don't tell you that.
Well,
Hey,
we're
can I
about
get?
to tell.
They just say, "Hey, can I get you anything?" They keep it vague, so they're not like, "Hey, can I get you any alcohol or wine or what?"
Huh.
So,
That's interesting.
we didn't get. I mean, the only thing we got like a little, um, it's actually like a little handmade bag that has, kind of like toiletry kind of thing. So it's got like a face mask and earplugs and, um, toothbrush and stuff like that in it that they normally give to their, I want to say their first class or Delta
Yeah.
One, maybe those people. So they did gift us that on the first long flight, but nothing on
Okay.
the return flight.
I have, well,
But
this
that's a
says
good touch
yes.
if you can do that.
This says yes on flights between US and Europe, Asia, and certain countries in South America, class restrictions, and more information on American Airlines. Alcohol is only available for purchase in economy. But yes, it's free on international flights for sure for Delta. United Economy, it says spirits and liquors available for purchase.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Maybe it was just Delta.
Yeah.
Becca, I should have
That's
worn
cool.
our matching glasses.
We should have.
Yeah, y'all have.
I,
Wait, y'all have two of the same pair?
well, I
She has
have
the
that
black ones of
in black
these.
and white.
Oh, okay.
Dude, question. This is not me complaining about this, but when you wear these glasses, does it get to a point where you're just like, I just don't want to wear these right now because people just say things so often?
No.
I literally like, I'm not even kidding you, passing somebody
Yep.
at a restaurant, and somebody goes, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she goes, with your glasses, you can do anything. And I was like, are you fucking every single time?
Yep.
And is that a thing that happens in your life on a regular basis?
A regular basis.
Yeah.
Well, I go out of my way to choose weird glasses.
Me
So
too.
if I'm gonna do
Mm.
that, I have to be able to receive what that brings
Which
in.
ones
What that
get
means.
the most, I'm
Which
gonna say
one?
compliments, but like comments, whether it's the ones that are like askew where there's a circle and a square, or
So
is
I
it the
have
ones that are
two.
super
So
fancy or
so for me, the ones that get the most, and I will say negative response, but it's response, is the two is one is circle, one is square.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is it's their round glasses, and then there's just the line that goes
Oh
like,
yeah.
and
you couldn't even call that a half rim. It's
It was like it zigzags
it's a
through
half
the
rim, right? It's a half rim. One on one eye, it's on the top, and then on the other eye, it's on the bottom. It swirls over in the nose. And my husband this is how he describes it. He says both of those pairs are very unsettling to look at. And I remind him I don't need to look at them, so it doesn't bother me. I look through them. I don't see what
Is
you
it worth the comments that you get?
1,000,000% yes. I love the interaction. I love the feedback. I don't care if other people don't like them. I obviously like them, you know?
Right.
So
I convinced Andrew, baby Andrew, I convinced Andrew to uh get glasses from Boo Glam. And he got the ones that are the Mondrian ones that have the red, yellow, and blue on the side.
there are some on that site that have so much color
Going
and
on.
so much
Yeah,
going on.
I know. I was like, if you didn't know he was gay before, you know now. You know
Get it.
now.
He's wearing it proud.
I mean, I also look gay in these glasses, but here we are.
No, they're
Anyway.
fun glasses are glasses. Glasses are just
They're an accessory. That's just
They're-
part of
They're
your
like the front
personality.
door. They're like the front door. They need to
Yeah.
match your personality.
exactly 1,000,000%.
I
So
always
apparently I'm unsettling.
the only times that I like really get frustrated with wearing these glasses is when I have to do a show and I wear them and then I remind myself that I should just be selling these glasses instead of selling pottery because like everybody likes my glasses but they don't like my pottery.
Should just
They
have a
love-
note on the table that says the glasses are from here.
Yeah. Use this
Mhm.
link. It's so that I get 10% or something.
Honestly,
Jeez.
referral link for the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I started the Amazon affiliation program.
Good.
Yeah, how's that going?
I made $28 in the first 9 days, I think.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Wait, have
I
you
mean, that sounds like not much money at all, but it's
sep-
kind of cool.
separately? Do you know about the Etsy share and save where you can get percentage back?
Yeah.
Okay, you do that. I see you always share that link with that as well, so
Mhm.
you can get some commission
Yeah,
back
I do that.
for
I've
those
made
sales.
$29 in the month of July, which I feel like obviously not that much money, but the amount of money in revenue that's shipped is $891.
Doesn't that
So
feel
I-
like you're just getting pebbles back? But
Well,
Yeah, but
But
it's
it's
kind
something.
of it
So
like
what
grows, you know?
yeah. Oh, yeah. And you just started. So that's an awesome start. It would be very disheartening for you to have started the 1st of July and made nothing.
Right. And it's so interesting. I kind of wanted to talk about how to do it because I feel like a lot of people can do it. So you just apply. It's called the Amazon Influencer Program and you just apply and then any like you can create like a nice little storefront. And then if you like, you know, if you're doing a demo with a certain tool, you can oh, fuck. Okay, you can link the tool. Sorry, that yawn was aggressive. You can link the tool and then you get a certain percentage back. What I find very interesting is that they have tiers of how much money you get as a commission. 20% is for Amazon games, which I don't even know what that is. And 10%, I think 10 or 15% is for beauty products.
Hmm.
Like
Uh,
lotions and shit. And I think that's so wild because you know when you're going through Instagram, you're like, God damn it, why is this lady hucking this like sunscreen so much? You know? And that's why, because they get like a 10%.
Hey everybody, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. We're going to take a quick break and talk a little bit about L&L kilns. So if you didn't know, you can go to the support section of the website and they have a bunch of information. There's a bunch of how-to videos, whether you're installing your kiln, you're doing maintenance on it, you're looking up like how to ventilate it. If you've got error codes with your controller, so even if you don't have a Genesis controller or you have a Bartlett controller on whatever kiln you have, they have the error codes on there and you can find all that info. And basic maintenance, all that stuff is on there. So even if you don't have an L&L, there's still a lot of useful information on there. They've been putting a lot of time and effort into making these videos very helpful. They've got instruction manuals and everything like that. So if you're interested, go to L&L Kilns at hotkilns.com and go to the support section. Thanks so much, and let's get back to the episode. Yeah, I
Oh.
wonder also, usually those creams and stuff, are they priced so like their profit margin is so high that they can afford to give 10%
They've got to be.
because they're making so much money on, people will buy little cans that are, $30 for a little bitty
Oh yeah. I have a hair,
container
I have a
face cream or whatever.
I have a leave-in conditioner for my hair that I spent like $30 on. No, it was $15 for the smallest bottle. Like the big bottle is like 40.
Mhm.
And I like treated myself, it was like a treat.
So can you buy your own with your own link, or do you have a
No.
separate account that you use to ship to yourself so that you can use your own link?
No, but I should because I spent a lot of fucking money on Amazon.
Mm.
I should, but they like notice what I think that they notice what like addresses
Oh, the
you live
address.
at.
I was
But
gonna say otherwise
like
they could probably do an IP lookup and see that you're the exact same device as this
yeah,
other
like
account. You can use a VPN probably.
Brandon bought like a treadmill or something, and I don't think it showed up on the account because my home address is their address.
Ooh, yeah, that won't work.
So I don't think it worked. But like if I shipped it to you, I think it would be fine. Fine.
Hmm.
But it's really cool. So and also you can create these videos and put them on Amazon. And I was at the beginning, I was like, why would I create a video? It's dumb. Like if it's just on my page, then I have to get people to my page still, you
Mhm.
know? And no, it's not that. If you create a video for like a product, let's say it's a minute or minute and a half or whatever, and you post it, then you can that video goes to the product. You link a product and that video goes to the product. And you know how you can like look at sometimes there's a video
Yeah.
in the
On the
pictures?
listing, yeah.
Well, on the side of those videos, there's all the other videos that people have posted. And if somebody watches your video for 30 seconds, you get the commission.
Really?
Yeah.
Even if but there's only one product associated with that.
Yeah,
Oh,
but that
okay.
would be on the product. So like let's say I bought some paper towels and I was like, wow, these paper towels are freaking great. Blah
Mhm.
blah 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 blah. They watched 30 seconds of that, I would get the commission for it.
Yeah. There's a bartender guy that we follow that we bought some orgeat syrup and grenadine off of his thing, and I did see that he had videos on there. I was curious because from me looking at it, I didn't see any products linked to those videos. They were him doing his Instagram, making a certain cocktail like he normally does, but I didn't see any products. But that makes sense that there's something linked with it, and if you watch it and you buy something, that
Mm-hmm.
there's
Yeah.
some incentive for putting the
That's
videos
awesome.
up.
Cool.
So that's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
I know Becca's always hunting for that extra passive income, so
There's nothing like passive income.
I know that I'm officially always looking
We should all always be looking for passive income.
always looking for passive
Yeah.
income. And like, okay, I saw this video thing and with the video, sorry, Mila just came in. And gave me leftovers, French fries.
Hmm.
So with the video thing, if you post enough videos and people see enough of them, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And if it gets to a point where you're making like a certain number a day, you don't have to do anything. It just
So
like
that-
continues.
so that's just random people coming to these products
Yeah.
on Amazon,
Yeah.
and because your video has been popular enough, people
So,
are watching you're getting a cut, even though you didn't drive people from your Instagram account,
Wow.
for instance, to
Right.
that. You're getting a little something something because
You don't have to be famous at all. You just have to
Exactly.
be good at reviewing stuff.
That's awesome.
And you don't actually have to buy it on Amazon. That's another thing. Like this water bottle, I got it at Target. Do they sell it on Amazon? Great, I'll review it.
That's
Like
awesome.
you don't have to tell them that you didn't buy it on Amazon.
that's true. Yeah.
Huh.
So anyway, if anybody is looking for a little side hustle that actually is not very much money but could be a potentially, I suggest it.
That's
Plus,
awesome.
it's so much fun.
Yeah, I'm like, what new thing is Becca going to be talking about this week?
It's good to be creative and come up with new ways to bring money in, especially if it's bringing you joy.
It's not that I'm creative, it's that I'm lazy. There's a difference.
You know what? Maybe they're interchangeable. That's okay.
Probably.
Yeah.
Ah,
All right.
I feel like
Well,
we
I
should
feel
talk
like
about you.
I feel like we're just smooching for the thing is on this Zoom, I can't tell how long we've been talking, which kind of sucks.
oh yeah. It's been a few minutes.
But it's been a bit. So, since we last talked in late August of last year, you were doing something with classes and workshops and spitballing. I think your 2-year-old just got out of the house, so you finally
Yeah.
had a house and free time to, work on some things. Like,
Yeah.
where were you at there? Where are you at now? What are you doing?
So then, yeah, and I only know this because I re-listened to 70% of the podcast earlier. And I heard myself saying, right, my 2-year-old had just got left the house. For the first time in whatever it was, 10, 11 years, I was not home with a kid. And I was really excited to like finally have time to focus on figuring out how I was gonna continue. That looks
That is
delicious.
more than leftovers, Becca. She's taking a huge bite of a sandwich with a
Which everyone could see if we put little clips on your Wheel Talk Instagram.
I muted it and I ate like a little piece of beef and I was like, holy shit. I had to try it.
That's not like a nibble food. That's not like French fries.
No, it's like a half a sandwich.
Yeah.
Listen,
But who
this is
eats
why I
only half
surround
a sandwich at
skinny bitches, skinny girls, like little people eat only half a sandwich. And that's why I surround myself with them. I will happily be your fat friend.
leftovers?
Do not care.
Yeah, I don't really leave leftovers, so
Me either.
I'm the wrong person for you to keep around when it comes to food.
Honestly, that was so nice of her. She just came in and she was like, "Do you want these?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh, really nice.
Of course.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So, uh, eh, eh,
I'm trying to remember where you left off.
Yeah, but it's fine.
You had
So last
freedom for the
year-
first time.
yeah,
And
last year it was freedom for the first time, being able to focus on pottery, having like the clarity that I didn't want to sell work, but I wanted to continue teaching. So at that time, I was teaching at a studio. I was starting to do some virtual small group classes. And then I don't think we
were
spoke
those
about
those were the schmooze and
like
throw?
the schmooze and throw. I had some project focused classes. I did those from like July through, I want to say like November.
Oh,
And-
that's it. I thought you did it into 20. You didn't do any in 2024.
Oh, no, I did actually. What am I saying? I did because I remember when I was scheduling them, I did them by month. I had a topic a month. So I just did like 5 or 6 of the same class back to back. So it was, I did it until like Passover time. So it was like basically March time. So
Okay.
from July to March. But what I didn't anticipate at that time was the workshops that which is now my main focus, the workshops where I host and another potter is teaching or another maker is teaching. And so for most of those, from those months of, I want to say August through March, I was doing both. But from January, I was heavily focusing on the workshops. So there was virtual wheel throwing classes that I was teaching, virtual workshops that I was hosting, and other potters were teaching. And with the two, I've like found this amazing opportunity and space to connect with potters from all over the world, kind of create a small community, which feels unbelievable. meet new potters. It's been amazing. It's been an unbelievable journey that I'm
Did the focus shift because there was just more of an audience for the guest artists, or how many people did you
no.
have for the schmooze and throw and the project focused? What
Uh,
like what was kind of the
so the focus, no. So the schmooze and throws were very, so just for anyone who didn't hear that episode, I was talking about wanting to do or having scheduled project focus workshops. So like or wheel throwing classes, virtual classes. So it's like I'm talking about throwing a bowl or throwing a cylinder or a lidded jar or a vase or whatever. And then the schmooze and throw was really just more of like a virtual community space. Those were like very unsuccessful. And the thing about me is that I am more than willing to try things and like see what sticks. And if it doesn't stick, I'm just not going to do it again. And I'm okay with that. So I had scheduled like 4 or 5 schmooze and throw classes, and I got like 2 students at one at another, which ended up being just the 2 of us schmoozing, and then like a couple didn't have anyone sign up. And so I just kind of was like, all right, I don't think this is the thing. And so I didn't reschedule any, and I was fine with that.
And you're talking about pricing those at, $20-30, something like that. And
So yeah, I think I can't remember now exactly, but I'm pretty sure I priced those at 30. And then the wheel throwing project focused classes were priced at 55. And those were a max of 8 students. And they were amazing.
that was where you're the only one doing this
I'm teaching it. Yeah, I'm teaching it. I love those. I feel like I can connect to the students way more than in the workshop ones. It's a lot more, interaction and familiar faces and learning. And I definitely am going to be picking those back up again when I can. So yeah, basically those were amazing. So I maxed them out at 8 students. I didn't usually, I had on average like 4 to 7 students. I very rarely did I have all 8 spots filled, but when I did, it felt like unbelievable. It was the best thing ever. So much fun. And those were amazing. I love those. And the reason why I shifted focus is more because of this move that I knew was coming up. And I didn't want to, I knew I was going to have to sell my wheel and all my stuff. And I needed to be able to continue doing what I'm loving, and not have to worry about not having a wheel, not having a space to teach.
So when you were kind of like balancing the 2 to 3 different options, did you set a goal for, I'm going to do X number of these a month with,
with the workshops,
with the project focus, and then one with like an artist? Because I was there very early but I can't remember kind of like how you were planning it.
So in 2023, I had only 4 altogether from August of the workshops taught by other potters. And then I did a bunch of the project focus classes. And then when I went to start scheduling 2024, I made myself a goal of 1 a week, 1 workshop a week. Yeah.
Dang, that's a big jump.
Yeah, it was. So what I did was, and I still continue to do this now.
And to have the pipeline of artists to fulfill that.
I just basically, what I'll do is I'll like set aside an hour, and I'm scrolling through potters, Instagrams, and seeing, or I'm focusing, let's say, I want to find a potter who's going to teach us how to make lamps. So then I'm going to type in, wheel thrown lamps or hand built lamps or, pottery lamps, handmade lamps. And then I'll find potters, and I have like a pitch message, and I'll just send it to like 20 people.
Wow, that many. Wow.
Oh yeah. And 17 don't respond. And that's okay, because I'm cold messaging them. Do you want to work together on a virtual workshop that you don't know who I am? I'm a stranger on the internet. Yeah. And now with Instagram's like shift into like request folders and everything like that, half my messages I assume are not even being seen.
Right.
At all. Yeah, and I pulled it off pretty much around Jewish holidays. I have less around public holidays. I have less, so it's like Christian holidays. I didn't post when there was Easter. I didn't have workshops when it was Easter or Passover or Christmas or you know, so
But
those
one a
months,
week.
but one a week. And I've pretty much been accomplishing that since the start of 2024.
And
Tell
was
them about
the
your most successful. No, your second most successful.
Well, third most
what do you
successful.
mean by successful? Do you mean number of
My third
attendees?
most,
Do you mean number
oh,
of dollars?
that's what Becca
How are
means.
they
Oh,
priced?
I want to say in my top 4 workshops, there is Becca Otis, who brought in a whopping 115 students.
And then I told Heidi,
Yeah.
who was going 2 weeks after me, hey, Heidi, you need to make sure that you are doing your like advertising on Instagram. And guess how many fucking people she got?
116.
That bitch.
Ah,
I love Heidi, by the way, for everybody who knows. Heidi is one of my bestest, closest pottery friends.
those are some
Who was
great
your
workshops.
top?
Let me think for a second. I'm trying to think if Liz Cohen might have had more on her second run around, her second workshop that I did together.
Should I text her right now?
I don't have my notebook, but I can pull it up. Give me 2 seconds.
It,
But
it was 120 plus, I think, right? It wasn't 117. It
no, it
was
Oh,
wasn't.
more
by
than
the
that.
way, I also told Liz that she needed to fucking
Did you?
advertise.
Well, that's the thing that I started telling. Okay, it was if this is Liz. Oh, actually, so Cara Lee Ford, her workshop was a couple weeks ago.
Oh, she's amazing.
She is amazing and
Met
so
her at
lovely.
Ensika. She was great.
She is
I'm
so,
reading her book right now.
Are you?
Yeah, because I'm teaching an 8-year-old how to throw.
Oh, that's so nice. So yeah, Liz Cohen's I just pulled up. Yep. So she had 128.
How many did Cara Lee
Cara
Ford have?
had, let me see, 128.
Oh
Exactly
my
the
God.
same?
Exactly the same. What are the
Oh
chances?
man.
I
Yeah.
gotta up my game.
So
It's got a competition that to topple
it's a great opportunity to let everyone know that you have an upcoming
this
workshop.
is your potential. If you can
Becca.
hit this many, this is the dollars you're looking at.
Yeah,
When
so
is that workshop? It's August.
a little clarity for anyone who's curious. My formula or my well, just a little about the workshops in general is that I wanted to do these workshops as a way because I knew that I had this impending move coming up where I was moving overseas and there was going to be a time difference and I wasn't sure, like what the community space situation was going to be. I knew that I wanted to have a space where I felt like I was adding to our community in a positive and meaningful way, creating an opportunity for people to learn in a really accessible way, something that felt really laid back, not high stakes. You don't need to have, a certain amount of experience in clay to learn virtually on a live virtual workshop on Zoom. It's not very fancy, no frills, and affordability was a huge part of it for me. So, and I say this at every workshop, and it's very true. As someone who's always been low income, I want people to see the price and not say, I can't pull that off right now. And if anybody, so they're priced at $40 with access to join live. So you have the Q&A, you can ask, anytime, or just to join and have access to the recording. So for 90 days, it's limited. I upped that from 60 recently. So anyway, that's the model. And then I work with artists and potters who are on the same page with me about that mission. And it needs to be on the same page because I don't pay the artists a flat fee. I pay them 50% of the profit, which means that it's going to be fully dependent on how many people that are present. So that's the
incentive for both of you because you
Yeah.
share the marketing load.
Yeah.
If you want, if they don't want to,
exactly.
then you're.
Yeah, I mean, I have a pool of people that I'm reaching out to. Anyone who's is on my email list, who's ever taken a workshop with me, is going to be, so I'm doing a nice amount of advertising, but that
Yeah.
was where Becca was saying, you know, you got to advertise if you want to get because we saw that clear differentiation between really pushing it, with your,
And it
Yeah,
didn't
'cause
take a ton, it seemed like. It seemed like it was 3 to
Uh-oh.
4 posts that were intentional.
and boosted.
I did, yeah, and I was the first one to like really push it.
You
So,
were.
and which was, I feel was kind of fun for both of us because, and it was shortly after our podcast with Will Donovan, and then who talked about like advertising on Facebook and Instagram. And so I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna try. And I did the post, I did like a hook, and it yeah, it just like went crazy. And every single day I was like, Tzipporah, how many more people? And
Yeah.
it was
Most artists are saying, a lot of the artists that I work with are like, how many today? How many do we have today? How many today?
yeah. And but yeah, like after, I think that it was, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like at that point it was like this turning point of like, oh,
Yes, it was a turning point, 1,000,000%, because up until that point, and again, from August through December, I did not have a lot of workshops, but I was telling the artists at that time, I'm going to do all the before. You don't even need to advertise or anything. And I do it's listed on my website. It's hosted on my Zoom account. I deal with the emails and the questions, and I deal with the recording and any follow-up questions and all the admin stuff in the back end. The artist just needs to show up. So that was
which is great.
which is great. But I was also saying, and you don't need to advertise. But the clear differentiation between a potter who advertises and a potter who doesn't, or a maker or business owner or whatever the topic is who doesn't, it was like night and day. And so since then, in my pitch, when I have a Zoom call, just talking about it with the artist, I'll just say, you don't have to advertise, but we're splitting the profit 50-50. So it's in your best interest. And I've seen the clear difference. So,
Yeah.
but ultimately, my goals are met aside from monetary goals, regardless if we have a large attendance or a small attendance. I'm making learning accessible. It's fun, it's chill, it's laid back. Everybody's on their couches in pajamas. It's demonstration based, or it's business focused, and it's, still demonstration based, but not a physical demonstration. It's whatever it is, the talk.
And from the ones that I've attended and hosted or co-hosted, it's not so hard and fast on a time. You're gonna
Right.
get the recording, so if you can only be there for an hour, but it goes 2 hours, it's fine. Or if it goes 2 like I think Liz's first one went like 2.5 hours or 2.5 plus.
Yeah.
And it like you get more bang for your buck there as long as Liz is willing to stay and talk about her plan for what she was going to talk about, and it's not just, oh, we're at an hour, we gotta cut it, sorry.
Exactly. So the workshops are scheduled for an hour and a half to 2 hours. I have never stopped at an hour and it's never stopped at an hour and a half yet, on the button, or maybe once. And I've often gone over 2 hours, and I always let everyone know, you can leave, you're going to have the recording, no worries. And it's been great. It's been really unbelievable. It's been so much learning, connecting. I open the floor for people to, show their camera, unmute themselves and say hello, which is nice, but often people are not interested.
But that was like part of my favorite thing about that, because like a lot of the people in like the last one that I did, a few people showed their faces, and I was like, wow, I know what you look like, like we had never, like, we've been talking for such a long time, but like they never like sent me a picture of their face,
It's really, so that I love about this like virtual learning opportunity is that we already are familiar with talking to people that are living in different states and different countries from where we are. And this is an opportunity to like connect on another level. Whereas normally we wouldn't be able to. Yeah, you live far away. I'm never going to see you. When am I going to see? And see, maybe.
Right. And most of the workshops are not 115 people. Like, what's
No,
the
that is
average
absolutely not
attendee?
my average. Oh, please, I wish. Oh my God, I could support my family. How amazing would that be?
Your whole family's gonna fly first class when you go
Yeah.
across.
Oh my
Yeah, if you were pulling in $2,000 every single time you did a workshop
That would
for
be amazing.
you'd make $8,000 a month.
Yeah, that would be a dream. I mean, that would be
Set your goals.
I can't. I don't want to disappoint myself. So I feel like that's true. My goal is always based on what I want to pay out an artist. So at a minimum, my goal is to reach 25 students. I do not always. I don't think that that's bad. I still think that for a 2-hour workshop, me paying out, so for 25 students is me paying out $500 to the artist. So
That's
if
well
I-
worth two. I mean, honestly,
What's that?
2 hours of your time for $500 being in your own home. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
assuming
So
you're doing it in your own home, like,
that's my goal. My
honestly,
minimum
that's
goal
great.
is 25 students. I do not always reach that. And even though at 10 students, I'm paying, or 15 students, I'm still paying out a nice amount, because if you break it down to hourly, it's more than you get paid in a studio to teach or in a classroom to teach.
Oh yeah.
But still, that's where I value the artist's time, at a minimum of $500 for the workshop. But, we don't always meet that. I'll say like my average is probably between 40 and 50 students, but
That's pretty good, honestly.
No,
Yeah.
I don't
it's
think I've
amazing.
ever had 40 students. Maybe I've hit 41, and that's the last one. I don't
I
know.
can check if you want.
It was close to it.
It's really, the last one was the shows one.
No.
For
The
the
oil
oil
bottle
bottles.
one.
44 at your oil
Okay.
bottle.
Nice.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
think the very
I'll tell
first
you
one
what.
was around 20 or 25 when we
Yeah.
like early days, like August,
Yeah.
September
Well,
days.
Ryan Durbin was my first
Whatever.
workshop ever, where another Potter, he was the guinea pig, where
Mhm.
another Potter was teaching and I was hosting, and it was really fun, and
Yeah.
it started. Yeah, so it's been amazing, and I really hope, and I believe that this is the case, and I continue to hope and pray that it is, and work hard that this is that the people that are joining the workshops are feeling like they're learning things of value. They're not paying too much to learn things of value. They're enjoying the experience, and
And
they're
there's no shortage of different topics too. They range from wheel to, I don't know how much hand building you have, but
I've tried
there's
so hard to find hand
business,
builders. Yeah.
and there's such a range that,
Yeah.
hey, it's like paying for a conference, and you're like, I've paid this much money and I've got to get my money's worth and make sure I'm here at this time and that time. And you can just be
Yeah.
like, hey, I can figure out 2 hours of my time for this
Yeah.
specific topic, or you can just buy it. Are you doing the purchase after for some
So
of them?
yeah, I just launched that a few weeks ago. Where a lot of people were saying, I missed the opportunity to join this one. Can I get the recorded access after the fact? And for me, it was like just the craziness of figuring that out. Like, how am I doing that? Because I do everything manually. Every email that is sent, aside from what's sent from my website, like my email blasts, it's all manual, one at a time. I'm responding to every order that comes in. I'm replying with the Zoom link info. It takes me a lot of time. Which of course that's my 50% of what, I'm hosting the workshop, and that's all that background, stuff as well. So it was just a question of, how am I getting each person their recorded access? How is each individual person who's buying a workshop getting it for their 90 days, after the fact? So I just recently figured it out a few weeks ago, a system that I think is working well. And yeah, I've got a bunch of the workshops up available for purchase, just the recording.
How do you do that then? Because from my understanding, Zoom is very file focused. Like, you've got one file that's this number of days from when the file is
So that was my problem.
created or something, or
yes. So I can share a Zoom link of a recording to a group of people, and then anyone with that link is going to have access for the 60 days or 90 days that I set it to. Let's say somebody then purchases it 3 days later. I now have been like, I'll extend that date. And now really everyone who has that link now has it for 3 days longer. So I couldn't do that as my system. I needed to download the workshop and have a video hosting platform or something where I can
Mhm.
then share it for a specific amount of days. And I scoured the internet.
Oh, I'm really curious to hear this. Let's
Okay.
go.
So I tried YouTube, Vimeo, Zoom didn't have a good option. Squarespace, which is what my website is hosted on, none of these were good options for me.
Mhm.
And I ended up, right now I'm using ShareFile.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that. That's a product of the company that I work for.
I know that only because when I went to put my credit card information in, it came, what's the company name again?
Well, I don't know if it came up as Citrix or Cloud Software Group,
It came up
but
as Centrix, which I knew you had mentioned to me before, and I was like, I think Ryan works
that's
for
a
this
Citrix
company.
product. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I host my bookkeeping workshops in because I mean, I don't have to pay for it because it's a
Must be
free
nice.
account,
Okay. Well, I'm paying for it.
but I mean, it's a good product. I know they have those options, and you can
Yes.
also select like they can only view it, they can't download it,
Correct.
so
Correct.
and it
They
can
can?
notify. Yeah.
So you can toggle off the download option, which I do. I only have it available for viewing. And then the greatest part about it is that, but what I will say is it is not a cheap platform. Like I am paying a nice amount of money for this. I can't remember now what I paid, but I just remember I had like 7 websites open and this was the most expensive.
I'm sure it's probably a subscription too. It's not a
It
it's
is
not a
a
one.
subscription, of course
Yeah.
it is. And so, but ultimately, I calculated how many workshops I need to sell to make it worth it, and this is what I needed to do because I wanted to make this option available. And so even if I don't sell that amount, I want the option to be available. And this is both something that's great about what I do and terrible, is that I put these ultimate goals ahead of my fiscal goals. And so I don't always make financially responsible decisions. But that's okay because I'm making learning accessible and affordable. So that's
Is it something around 20 to 30 bucks a month?
no, it was more than that.
No.
Okay. And
Video sharing websites are like
is that mainly based on
90 to
the
like $300.
storage
It was based on the storage.
capacity?
Yeah. 1 second. Let me check exactly what I paid. Share file.
And there's also because you can also be notified when people have accessed the file, which is what
Yes.
I get notifications for that. And then they have transcripts in there. They transcribe whatever's in the video, and
So
you can
I
change
toggled off I don't want to be notified because if I'm sending a recording out to,
Oh yeah.
and also side note, so now I'm using this after each instead of just using Zoom to share it,
Mhm.
I'm now using this to share the
Right.
workshop recording for those that join the live workshop that sign up for it.
Yeah. And then you can template your Gmail, like, thanks for joining. Here's your record. That's what I do for my bookkeeping ones. It's just a link in my Gmail template that says, here's a link to your recording. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining. And then you can just,
Yeah.
swap out that share file URL.
That's exactly what I do. Yeah. Personal settings, admin settings. I'm trying to
So
see
would that drive you to maybe would you
my
What's
split
it called
potentially
again?
share file,
share file. Yeah. Would it drive me to change what?
change your price for a workshop? Like change it from 40 bucks to 50 bucks over time at some point?
Somebody else, an artist that I just worked with, just asked me, would you raise your price? Because that's real cheap. I don't think so. It's really important to me that it stays affordable. I think the only thing that I would possibly change, and I'm waiting until 2024 is out to decide, is the share split that I do with the artist for the recorded workshop. So maybe instead of it being 50-50, once it's already recorded, which is essentially just passive income for the artist, I might do 60-40. Because I am continuing to work and paying the subscription and everything like that.
And that
But
storage is just going to increase. I mean, you're just going to keep
that's
adding more and more
exactly.
unless you decide, okay, these aren't worth keeping up here, so we're going to take them down so I can make room for others.
Exactly. So that's the only thing that I would consider shifting, and is not the price point for the people who want to learn, but that would be based, you know,
Mhm.
I mean, I would hope that the artist would be okay with that, but if they're not, then I would probably just,
Because the
Uh,
download recorded option is still $40, correct? It's just this. It's the same price as if you bought it
yeah,
for live. Yeah.
yeah. And so that would be the only thing that I would change, but I told myself I'm not considering that until 2024 is up. I want to see how it goes,
Mhm.
see how much work I do need to do. Because if it's not annoying or, you know, it's not too many, I'm not getting too many of those purchases, then I'm going to stick to it as it is. But if it does, then I might have to shift that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did you say you're doing the virtual data room one?
Virtual data room?
No, it's probably
Wait,
not that one.
it's called
It's pro
share file, right?
Yeah,
It is.
but it's probably more than what's on the advanced or premium version because of the storage she needs, I'm guessing. There says $16 per user per month for
Oh, for the
advanced.
advanced. And the virtual data room is 67.50.
So let me look at my,
Because I was looking at a thing to do like
so
a
my invoice.
website.
So yeah, so Squarespace has an option for subscription videos. But that wasn't what I needed to do here. So I paid $53 for it's a monthly payment.
Okay.
Because a
Um,
lot of these are limited with the storage you get. I'm sure they've got,
exactly.
and then you've got to it's
Yeah.
1 GB of account storage per license on virtual data room.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's tiers of that.
exactly.
Yep.
Well, anyway, and then there's like you know, I pay all my it's not really so relevant how many fees I have to cover, but I pay
But
a
that's
lot.
part of what's making it like you found this as an option, so it's
Yeah.
part of what you get to balance, and you also have to pay for the Zoom.
The Zoom,
Maybe
yep.
maybe your Zoom is a little more manageable now that you don't have to store everything on there anymore.
It's still I have like I at one point needed to raise the amount of like users that can come on, viewers that can
Mm,
join on. The
Yeah.
storage, I still want it stored there as like a backup storage. I'm like nervous, you know, so it's like my
yeah.
hard drive.
Yeah, you don't
Um,
want to risk like download it to your computer and then like what happens if it doesn't download?
exactly. I can't risk it. So I keep them all on there. But it's a great option. And there's lots of ways to do these like virtual workshops and virtual classes. Becca, I know you were thinking about doing something. And I think like we should all try it. Like give it a go. If you like teaching and you like, you know, connecting with people virtually, then try doing a virtual workshop or class and see how it goes.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I have never been more, well, for one, and we did our workshop, the first one we did ours in January, and both me and you were in this spot where we were like, we really need money.
Yep.
And
Yep.
we were both like, ugh.
No, we broke.
We broke. And we got money, and it was so amazing. I was like, because that payout was 2 grand.
Yeah.
And I looked at, I think I called Andrew and I was like, stationary Andrew, and I was like, I just spent 2 hours online and made $2,000.
You did spend more than that. You spent
You spend a lot of
hours
time marketing and
advertising and marketing, all
I
of that
know,
needs
but
to
like,
be accounted for. But yes, your active time teaching was 2 hours and you walked
yeah.
away.
And like that literally funded most of my January,
Mm-hmm.
and like it was just all of your workshops have come at a really convenient time for me, uh, as far as when I need money. So thank you for that. But also somebody was like, why don't you just do it yourself?
Yeah, do it yourself.
And,
Make 100%
and
profit.
well, and then I was like, yeah, but also why?
Well,
Like,
there's
yeah,
something.
oh, go
I
on.
mean, just what we were talking about, like all the logistics and
Yeah,
things that you
yeah,
just
Yeah,
talked about, that's what her cut
yeah.
is, right?
I've become like a marketing management company. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
especially with not having a wheel right now, I'm not teaching my own wheel throwing classes. So I'm just managing other people's classes, and it's awesome, and I'm loving it. But I'm not, it's nice that I can offer you and other teachers the opportunity to just show up and do what they love and make a nice chunk of money on it.
Right.
you
And
had-
also, I mean, like, it would be one thing. Sorry, Ryan. It would be one thing. I promise I'll be done after this.
Oh, you're good.
If you were like some bro that I'd never met in my life that didn't do pottery, but you're not. And it's like, it was really cool for me to be like, hey, we both just made this money.
Yeah.
And like, I think I texted you. I was like, look at us.
Yeah.
Like, basically, like, we're two business owners that just collabed on a workshop and made
Yeah.
$4,000.
Yeah. And that's something else that I love about these workshops is that it's a shared experience. Like we're leaning on each other and we're building each other up and we're succeeding together. And that's amazing. It's very uplifting. It's very positive, I hope.
And it's a combination of the personality, the way you're marketing it, the like, the hook that's involved, is it a marketable enough technique that you're doing? You can't just like, we're not, we don't all have hundreds of thousands of followers. So it's like, okay, the pool of people is ripe for the taking when you've, 100 people is nothing in relation to 100,000 followers, but it's like, it's achievable.
Well, here's something
Like,
interesting.
it just depends on a number of variables, but
yeah, I will say I have not cracked the code on how to have high attendance at a workshop. What I am seeing is it does not matter what the follower count is. It doesn't matter. So
of your follower count or the artist
Correct.
that's presenting.
Correct. It is about the topic. So if you have something of value to teach and you're a great teacher, and maybe that's already been proven by, whatever you've shared online, it is more likely to do well than someone who has a really, and it's not necessarily true. This is not fact, but I have seen that it doesn't actually matter what the follower count is. I've had high attendance at people with a smaller follower count, low attendance at people with a higher follower count. I think it's about the topic of the workshop and how niche or broad it is. It's been really interesting to learn. But I haven't yet figured it out.
If the person is generally more willing to share process and that kind of thing in their Instagram or what they share, and they show their personality, normally does that affect versus somebody that's very tight-lipped, they don't show their process, they just show their pots, people don't know their personality, like does that intrigue make people want to come to a workshop because, oh, they never teach about this, so like I need to come?
Right.
Or
It's possible. I don't think I've seen any clear correlation. It's really interesting.
because if some people are so open with an open book about what they teach, and they've showed how to throw something many times over, like why would you want to join a workshop for an hour and a half talking about that specific thing when you can watch videos of it? But there's something there to draw them, right?
Well, yeah, it is the opportunity to interact as well. Because like think about I don't know, like pick a potter. I'm not great at like knowing potters' names and stuff like that, but pick a famous potter who does a workshop, and in order to get to that workshop, you follow them. You watch what they do all the time. You know that they're so good at this. In order to get to a live in-person workshop for them, you got to fly to where they are.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put yourself up, or maybe on the off chance it's in your home city and you don't have to do any travel, but you still need to pay, $500 or more just to be there in person, right? They're like, they're expensive.
Right.
So here's an opportunity in my mind for all of us to, learn. This is the accessibility part, making learning accessible. No matter where you are in the world, there's an artist who you love, you've seen them throw a million times. You know they throw really well. They post teaching tips, but you still want to watch them. And you still want to learn from them, and you still want to engage with them, ask them questions, show your face, and like connect. And that's
Mhm.
a big part of this is connection, because we're lacking that a little bit on the Instagram. You know what I mean? On social media, we're not.
Right.
I mean, I feel that anyway.
And it's not as intimidating if there's 25 people there or 40 people there. You can comment or you can talk.
Yeah.
It's not, they're not all 115 people. So,
No,
it's
never.
not like, oh, I don't want to take the airtime from people because there's so many of us. I don't,
No. There's usually like 30 to 50% of the people that signed up are joining live. The rest are just there for the recording or have
Mhm.
signed up for the recording.
Have you had any reservations from artists about the 50/50 cut when
Yeah,
you've
I've had
talked to
artists
them
say,
about it
"Oh
and,
yeah,
had to, you meet with them and you talk about here's the price, here's the incentive, here's how we do it, here's the cut, and they're kind of like,
yeah." I've had artists tell me that they don't want to do it together because they can make 100% of the profit. They don't need to split that 50 with me. And I'm fine with that. It's not right for everyone. I don't really
Mhm.
care. The thing that I've realized brings me the most joy after I do a workshop with somebody is when they go and do it themselves and make more money. Cause I'm like, yeah, you see you could do this and it's not so hard. Like go do it yourself. I'm happy to make learning affordable and accessible and obviously help support my family at the same time. And thank you for doing that with me once. And now go and do it
Yeah.
yourself. And
It's
if
kind of
you
like
want,
they did a little trial with you, and then
yeah,
they can see,
exactly.
hey, there's a potential. Like I was worried about doing all the marketing and stuff, and you're kind of like a
Yeah.
gateway for them to be like, oh,
Oh
like I
yeah.
have the confidence that there's enough people that want to know about my
Oh yeah.
process.
It brings me so much joy. I mean, Heidi did one a few weeks later. Liz has done, who else? Terry from Pots by Terry Rasmus. She did a few after our workshop. Yeah, there were a few who've gone on and done it themselves, and I'm very, I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. There's room for all of us to succeed. I don't really feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah. And I was kind
competitive.
of thinking about this earlier today when I didn't really bring this comparison until when I was re-listening to that episode, that the 50/50 cut kind of in my mind, it relates to kind of like a wholesale client that, all we're talking about with the logistics and the marketing and getting the thing sold, like
Yeah.
that's a lot of what a wholesaler does for us as potters. Like you're putting the work in, you're making the product, you're delivering it, that's kind of like you showing up to the talk and doing your presentation, and like their job is 50% of it to make sure it sells,
Yep.
as well as other logistical things to keep the lights on, so to speak, to make sure it's like available for people. So I was kind of relating that to potters
Yeah.
and ours that are, selling to wholesalers, where people are like, why would I give 50% to them? Like, I could just sell 100% and go to shows and do it myself,
Yeah, but then you gotta go to shows and do it yourself.
and sell
Right.
online.
It's like, yeah, but you didn't.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, yeah, but you didn't. Like, oh, I could make that money. Yeah, but you didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's been great. Thank God.
Hey guys, I just wanted to pop on and let you guys know, if you didn't read the title, that this is a part 1 and we are going to have a part 2 next week. This has been helping us out a ton, just with being able to keep on top of the episodes and like letting Ryan go on vacation and letting me have a mental break and, having, good times, great oldies, all the summertime stuff. So, we will see you for the rest of it next week. It is a 3-hour episode, so it's a long one. So you've got an hour and a half for pretty much both sides, I believe. So, we will see you next time, and I hope you guys have a great week. Okay, bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Whale Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.